And that's not really enough when the problem is so monumental. You can't notice. What you want to do is actively not only say, I'm not saying this is okay, but say, I think this is actually morally abhorrent. But once you know, you've got to do something about it, because there are people who don't know and there are people who don't care. And the people who don't care, you know, they're the reason bad things happen. So don't be one of those people.
Hi beautiful beings, it's Rebecca, the Vegan Pixie Warrior. In today's video, I am interviewing an activist called Ellie, or she's otherwise known on YouTube as the Vegan Gaze. She's brilliant and fierce, and she doesn't mince her words, and I think that's why I was really drawn to her channel and why I think she's such a great representation for vegans out there. So I'm hoping by the end of the video you'll be inspired to get active, and don't forget to check out her channel as well. So welcome to Vegan Pixie Warriors channel. Today I am talking to Ellie, aka the Vegan Gaze. If you haven't checked her channel out, make sure you do. I'm sure everyone here knows who she is. How are you, Ellie?
Yeah, I'm all right, thank you. Yeah, I've eaten a bit too much too quickly because I got excited, but that's fine.
That's fine. That's not a problem. We're not adverse to eating too much, definitely.
No.
I want to say
all of them leaves in the grass, you know, all the straw.
Yeah, be careful not to eat too much grass. You might have an effect on your poo, maybe. I don't know. I want to say thank you for coming on. You invited me on your channel a couple of weeks ago, and I had so much fun. We did a bit of a talk about some memes and stuff like that, and it was great fun. And I love your channel so much. You're so honest. You're so upfront, and that's what I respect most about vegan activists like yourself. That you
Thank
don't
you very much. Appreciate that. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We have fun here.
We did have fun. So you probably, most of the people that are watching this know who you are, and they'll probably know the answer to this question. But you know what? I don't. So when did you go vegan, and what was it that made you go vegan?
Must have been 2014, because it's been about 6.5 years. And it was a long kind of process, you know, like Michelle Lowe calls it, like the sleeper effect. You know, you see things, but from quite a young age with my best friend, I would look into things like vivisection. We wanted to see what sorts of things happened to animals and all of that. And yeah, it's in loads of things. One thing that stuck out to me primarily when I was younger was bear biling. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it's so basically there's a species of bear called the moon bear, and there is bile extracted from them, and it's used in medicine. So then they stay in a cage for like 20 to 30 years, and they just have bile extracted from them. And I just thought that was the most horrendous thing I'd seen in my life. Yeah. Animals Asia, if you want more information on it, they talk about it. I think in some places now it's banned, so thank God for that. But yeah, I was just like, oh my God, we are horrible to animals. And then when it came to doing a music video, I was filming a music video for a local punk band, and they had this song that was about factory farming. So I tried to find, you know, on YouTube relevant footage to put alongside it, which I didn't end up using. I couldn't, but on there, when I was looking, I saw dairy farms, and I was like, hang on, we're horrible. We're like, you know, it's not just to the bears, it's to every animal.
Yeah.
And I thought, hang on, why aren't these guys vegetarian? And then I looked at it and I was like, hang on, if this is dairy, then I'm gonna need to go vegan, and I'm gonna need to do it. Why aren't they? So you're just looking at that and being horrified that someone really knew and didn't do anything, I think made me think, well, I have to do something.
Yeah,
because they're eating McDonald's. There's supposed to be this punk band talking about factory farms, and I was having McDonald's with them, like, you know. So yeah, that really
weird. That's so odd.
Yeah, that's why I asked them. It was all, you know, the lyrics were about, you know, all these graves, unmarked graves. So I asked them what was it about, and that it shocked me at the time. I was like, oh, it's about animals. Okay. None of them are even vegan. So
That's
yeah.
bizarre. Are they vegan now or still not?
I think a partner of one of them is vegan, and I think she went vegan because of me. So I yeah, I found out that she went vegan because she'd watched a few of my videos, and that was quite funny. So
That's good.
full circle, kind of.
Yeah. So the dairy industry is what tipped me over the edge as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, just horrible, isn't it?
Yeah, it is vile. And I'm not even a mother, and I was like just heartbroken by seeing the baby being taken away and the mother running after the baby. That's what got me. So
Yeah. It's just so
and
that's where all the propaganda comes in, I think, more than anything, because looking at something like that is just so disturbing. Like the
yes.
milk of another species, we're not babies, yet
I,
we're told we need it.
I did a post on my Facebook page probably like 9 years ago now, and I've only been vegan for 3, and it was going on about how people are freaked out by breast milk, human breast milk, but they eat the milk of another species. And I wasn't even vegan, and I put that post on, and I was like, do you know what? If I ever have kids, I'm going to make cheese out of my breast milk. So I don't know if
Oh
that's a
yeah, I
thing
remember
that
you
you could
telling.
do.
I
Yeah,
remember you telling me, yeah, before you're vegan, you can do. And
yeah.
recently I reacted to on my channel. This lady put her breast milk into some brownies that she was cooking, and the mothers found out and were furious, but they were like fine with the the milk before. But it's just
It's
weird
so
that
weird.
is disgusting. Yeah, it
Yeah, and
is.
it's milk meant for us. It's bizarre. It's bizarre.
Mhm.
And whereabouts in the world are you based, Ellie?
So I'm in Cambridgeshire area right now, but I typically do flock from one place to the next. But
Bit of a
I've been here for a
nomad.
little while. Yeah, I like that. I haven't yet found the place that I like the most. So
No. Yeah, I did a lot of that, moved around a lot in my childhood, and I lived in Plymouth for 15 years. It's probably the only place I've ever felt settled my whole life. And now I'm in Bristol. But yeah,
in
I,
Bristol,
I
yeah,
like
I
Bristol
like
now.
Bristol's lovely. Yeah, I like that a lot.
And so how long did it take you to become active in the animal rights movement after going vegan?
Pretty much instantly, because basically I did it on my 18th birthday, and that's in May. And then I had the summer kind of holiday, and then I went to uni. And it was like 2 weeks into uni, I found all the like vegans through going to like potlucks and all of that. And then it was instant. So yeah, it was a couple of months. And I was just like, oh yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm a student, like gonna go out and cause a ruckus because I can. And yeah, began
Cool.
then.
Did you have any blocks, anything stopping you, anxiety or any health issues that were preventing you from getting active, or that you used
Well,
as excuses?
yeah, well, I get like nervous, but I don't care. I don't know what happens, but like I really don't care. Like if I were to like when I go to make a video that's not related to animal rights or anything to do with veganism, I get this weird like nervy feeling where I get all like nobody cares, all those feelings. But when
Mm-hmm.
it comes to like animal rights, I just don't. I'm like I don't care what I think about that I'm gonna do it because I'd want me I'd want me doing it if I were in that position. But now the things that stop me, obviously, apart from the Schirroma virus, I think I let partners kind of get in the way a little bit,
Okay.
because I think they looked at it like it was this kind of weird thing, because there's still this kind of I think stigma against like animal rights activists that they're kind of weirdos. So it's not kind of taken as seriously as other protesters. So I made them. I don't think they were necessarily doing it. I don't want to put that on them, but
No.
I kind of felt like, oh, they think I'm a loser. Like, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I let that get in the way, and because of where I live, like I really need a car, to be honest with you, especially when things like sabbing
Mm.
or investigations or getting to events like vigils, you need better transport than a random train, so
And
that
a
kind of
bus
gets in
and a
the way.
taxi. Yeah. Yeah. No, I know what you
Yeah.
mean. What was the
Hmm.
first form of activism that you did, and how did you find out about it?
I think it was a foie gras protest, but I could be wrong. But I'm pretty sure. No, it mustn't have been. No, I'm going to stick with foie gras. I think it was this foie gras process. So I went to a potluck, with like a vegan potluck, and met loads of people. And I think they're really good places to go to. You think, oh, well, you're just going to find people who care about food. But I met my future housemate there. Yeah, I met like a person I did investigations with. I met all my friends who became like my protest buddies.
Yeah.
So yeah, I found out through a potluck essentially. And we just made it. We'd like organized the event. There were only like 3 of us. But they took foie gras off the menu officially, but I'm pretty sure that they served it to regulars, you know what I mean? So
but you've got some sort of action out of it.
Something. Yeah.
And how do you fit your activism into your life at the moment?
So yeah, at the moment it's kind of all I talk about.
I should say before lockdown, really.
Yeah, so before lockdown it'd just be like, so I feel like Facebook groups are the best ones for those. You just find out, when something's happening, and I kind of worked around it. Like the last kind of jobs I've had have been quite flexible. So I luckily I've been able to just kind of work around the events when they've happened. But I would say to people, definitely the best bet is like a Facebook group. Like find all of these different places in your local area, and then before you know it, you'll meet one person who knows a person who knows a person, and you'll have all these different places to go to. And because I don't have a particular, I know some people have like a group that they're assigned to, or they go to an Anonymous for the Voiceless, and that's almost like their family. I don't have that at all. I just, I've done it in Leicester, Glasgow, Cheltenham, Edinburgh. Like I'll just go where it is, if I can afford to do so. So yeah, you just become familiar with local and, national groups for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I did one over when lockdown lifted for a little bit. I went up to a mega farm, wasn't a dairy farm, a mega farm up north with a friend, and that was for the Animal Justice Project, and they do events all over the UK. So yeah, that was an interesting one. It was it was hard work, and really an emotional day, but I'm glad I was part of it, and they do an amazing job, definitely. And what's your favourite form of activism? What suits you best?
For me, it's probably filming footage. Well, it's not my favorite. Like, that's the worst. Like, but I think it's the most powerful. But I feel like my favorite. Well, it's kind of half is and half not. But like something like like an Earthlings experience or an Anonymous for the Voiceless, where you talk to people. I'm really bad in a cube or holding signs. I get told off all the time because even with a mask on my face, I'm still like interacting with people. I'm not saying a word. They can't even see my face, but my body is so like wants to talk to them that it's talking. So, but I love it when I get a chance to talk to a person in the public and change their mind. That's my favorite, definitely.
You mentioned about some covert filming, some secret filming.
Yeah. So that's quite difficult to do, and I know like someone like Joey recently, he did it, and then all these people like, oh, you're spreading bird flu. Like, never mind that. Like, he's like advocating for no birds to be in cages, so there wouldn't be these clusters anyway. But yeah, when I did it, I just think it just makes it more real for you individually as well, because I think the issue is for some people, and this is why I just kind of don't get when people change up and then suddenly stop being vegan, is because like I don't think they've literally seen the animals. And it's like not only the animals who are killed, like the animals you see are the ones who are like dying before they're even halfway through the lifespan that will be forced upon them. And you see all the numbers on the board of how many, like the number reducing. And yeah, I think that's the best, because it really solidifies what's happening. You can talk about these things all day long, but actually seeing these places it just gives you an edge when you're talking to these people of like, do not lie to me. I know what a free range local Betsy's farm looks like.
Yeah.
I know what it looks like. So I feel like that's the most effective. It's not my favorite, but it's the best in that way. And showing that footage, like there's some footage that ended up in Land of Hope and Glory. I was at an Earthlings, no, it was like a workshop, and Earthling Ed was there. And I'd never seen Land of Hope and Glory, but part of the thing was to play it. And then I'm watching it, and then I see, and I'm like, oh my God, I filmed that. And then that's when I started getting upset, because I remembered what it was like to, all the smells came back, and you know, the humidity, and it was, yeah. So I think it's really important, because people have seen that. It wasn't just me who saw it. So
but that's amazing that you've been part of that project. And
well, I didn't even know. I didn't know it was in there.
You filmed stuff that has possibly made other people, well, not possibly, definitely made people vegan. That, you know, I know people that, I didn't watch that film until I'd been vegan for 3 months. But I know people that have watched that film and went vegan because of it. And you're a massive part of that, of affecting people's lives. That's fantastic. I didn't know that about you. That's amazing.
Yeah, well, it's been a long time, so I don't really, well, you know, whenever that was filmed, it was like a year before that, I think. So it was a while ago, so I almost feel quite detached from that, because I haven't been able to do it. Like where I live, the activism seems not very big, and I don't really know people around here, and I just don't want to stay here, so I'm kind of waiting until I can move elsewhere. But yeah, I definitely want to get back out when everything's back to normal.
Frustrating. I'm not an online activist. I can't do it. I get frustrated. I'm not very good with my words. Like a friend of mine, George Martin, his posts are fantastic and everything says it's fantastic, but I feel like I'm better when I'm speaking. So if I'm doing a live stream, a vigil, then that's where I feel what my strengths are, because I'm like in there in the moment and in the emotion. So but yeah, I wish I could do online. So I'm looking forward to getting back out there on the streets. I've got another We the Free event on Saturday, so that should be good.
Yeah. Oh, you've got another one. Yeah. Well, we're in like tier 4 at the minute, so I have no idea. So I'll stay here and yell at people on the internet. Classic.
But you know, you doing your online activism with regards to your YouTube channel as well. You did some outreach with a guy. Was it yesterday? I think it was, wasn't it?
I did a debate. Yeah. I do enjoy debating people for sure, but you find a lot of the time the people who want to debate are just so far gone that there's no way you're going to convince them. So really it's just kind of like you almost then just let them make a spectacle of themselves. Like he was saying that we are naturally carnivorous, that he didn't want to see any of the studies that I wanted to show him because he didn't trust anybody. Like it's just like, well, you're doing me a favor because you look silly. So yeah.
Do you run any events yourself? Have you ever run any in the local towns that you've been?
No,
the Far Gras one.
Yeah, so there was Far Gras, and then at the same kind of area there was a British Heart Foundation. So we did some BHF protesting there, and I was part organizing. I've not part organized any really events, except I was kind of helping with a vegan fair in Cheltenham a few years ago, but like I'm such a disorganized person that like organizing, I'm more of a kind of like, hey guys, this is happening, someone else is in charge, but let's go, like so like yeah, I would definitely co-organize something, but I just don't trust myself to be in charge of much. I
really like it. I really enjoy organising. So I did the Animal Rights March in Bristol last year and I absolutely loved it, and I was gutted that we couldn't do it this year, but hopefully next year we'll be able to, everything will be sorted by then and be able to go ahead. But yeah, so you're an influencer and you just get everyone else to come. So that is co-organising. Yeah. And
I wish I was I wish I could influence people. Maybe they'd make better choices if I was in charge. That's how I feel. Yeah.
No, I think you definitely affect people with your YouTube channel. I've no doubt people are just, it's mostly, I find the ones that argue with you the most blokes, so they're probably too scared to come back and say that so this woman's made them actually reconsider their life choices.
Well, I've had a few friends. So there was that person I said about, the partner of the punk band. There was someone else who I kind of like loosely talked to a couple of years ago, and they came back to me and said they'd recently gone vegan and they watched my videos and stuff. And there's been quite a lot of people, and you really don't know where you're going to affect, because I think you'd think, oh, well, maybe on a YouTube channel you'd really be able to affect people because you're speaking and you can level with people a lot better. But actually, when I started, I mean, I guess I got active kind of instantly or before I even went vegan, because I had this account on something called Tumblr. I'm not sure if you're and being vegan on there was really difficult because you've got like a lot of like people who would identify with like social justice left, and you find with people who adamantly think that they are speaking up for somebody, a lot of the time, if you try and tell them, okay, well, what about this group, they see that at the mouth they're frothing. They like, it was really hard to, and that was like kind of my immediate response when I started doing like talking about veganism. So very quickly it was venomous. So now it's to the point where I just doesn't affect me really. I mean, it must do, because I sit there like ignoring everything else to fight people, but yeah, it doesn't like hurt me or anything or scare me in that way.
No, I don't find it scary. I don't bother talking to family and friends anymore, but when it comes to talking to strangers, I don't get worried at all. I've got no anxiety about it. I just go out and if you'd have told me that 3 years ago, I'd be talking to strangers on the street, I would have never believed you, ever.
No, me neither. I like to keep to myself. I will talk to people, but, and especially this year, because being social has been like banned. I feel I've got this kind of like newfound nervousness around people, so that's a bit of a worry. So yeah,
I was worried that would happen to me, but I've had when they lifted lockdown the first time, I did a few cubes in that time, and then we had our first We the Freed event on the 19th of December, and I was actually really nervous about it, but I loved it, and I had some amazing conversations with the public. It was fantastic. Really receptive, and I just love how grateful they are when they go like, "Thank you for talking to me." It's like, okay,
nice.
thank you for actually listening and taking note and connecting.
And people do want to talk about these things for sure. They want to have these conversations. So
yeah, they do. I always say that people that come towards the screens are inquisitive, and inquisitive people are usually more open-minded.
So, exactly. Yeah, that's the case.
Definitely. And so how does it feel like for you? What does it mean to you to be an animal rights activist?
I don't know. So what do you mean? So what kind of like criteria do you need to feel to be one, or what?
No, for you personally, when you're out there, or you're having your debates on your YouTube channel, or you're out there talking to people on the street, or you're going into these farms and filming the truth, how does what part? So for me, for example, I feel like I found my calling. I feel like I'm making up for 40 years of abusing animals by going out there and being as active as I can and doing as much as I can. And I feel it's become a big part of who I am, a big part of my personality now. I consider myself an animal rights activist above anything else.
Yeah, so for me, I don't know if it's necessarily my calling. It just feels like an obligation. It just feels like the thing that's, when I'm doing it, I'm not like questioning if I could be using my time better as much as I would be like doing literally anything else. So yeah, I don't even like really think about doing it. I just do it. Like as soon as I found out about it, it just became this thing of like, oh my God, we do this. Like, yeah. So I just say for me, it's just an obligation. Almost like another limb. It's just something that I always end up going back to, or I don't technically really leave. It's always there, and I don't think it would ever go away. I just don't. it will never not be wrong. So, so I'm never
No.
shut up. Yeah.
Definitely. I just want to do it all the time. What would you say to vegans out there that are watching this and know who you are and maybe, you know, watch your channel or have seen you for the first time and they're not active? They think vegans, being vegans enough. What would you say to encourage and inspire them to do something?
Okay, well, yeah, I hate to be a bummer, but it's like, it's absolutely not, because the number of animals isn't being killed and exploited isn't going down, it's going up. So, you know, you don't really, like, obviously by boycotting, all you're really doing is like sending a message of, and because when you buy things, you vote essentially on, when you pay for something, you're saying, that's okay, I'm okay with this, unless you're made to do so. That's all you're doing. And that's not really enough when the problem is so monumental. You can't notice. What you want to do is actively not only say, I'm not saying this is okay, but say, I think this is actually morally abhorrent. And that you can't really do that just by not paying for something. If you've got to go further than that, you've got to, you know, be vocal. You've got to use your, you know, your opinion and the education that you have. Because when you look at the scale of the problem, it's one of the biggest problems, really. Like, trillions of animals every single year killed. Like, try and conceptualize a trillion of anything and then take into account that that number is sentient beings. It's just like, yeah, I just say, like, I know it sucks when you know something and you find out and you wish you didn't, but once you know, you've got to do something about it, because there are people who don't know and there are people who don't care. And the people who don't care, you know, they're the reason bad things happen. So don't be one of those people, I'd say.
No. Yeah, I feel the same. I say to people all the time, like, what would you, when I'm like on like Facebook, on the local groups, what would you say to the person that made you vegan? Would you thank them, or would you tell them they were being too pushy or judgmental, or they were dictating to you what choices you could do? And I had the absolute pleasure of meeting the woman that made me go vegan a couple of weeks ago, and it was
yeah,
first thing I said to her that came out of my mouth was like, thank you so much for making the film Vegucated, because if you hadn't, I wouldn't have gone, well, I probably would have gone vegan, but I think it would have gone a lot later. Yeah, I'm forever grateful to her, forever.
Did you say that you were going to interview her,
I
possibly?
have interviewed her, yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. That's
it.
yeah, I remember now.
Yeah,
Okay, I need to watch that.
So for anyone that doesn't know about you, I'll pop a link to your channel below. I'm sure everyone does, but can you just tell us what your channel's about, what sort of things you've got coming up in the future?
Yeah, so my channel it's like a mixture. I try and put like a light-hearted spin, or like use popular culture formats and then put it into veganism, because I think for something to be effective, you just need to use everything you can, especially like popularized formats. So I try and do that. I do anything, but it's all really ethics. Some things are food and whatever, but it's just all ethics, all circle jerking vegan stuff. But it is mainly footage and videos catered towards vegans. I think it's important for us to have some time to just kind of like sit back and have a little giggle. So I try and make some fun stuff. But I'm really open to kind of doing anything. I have done outreach videos in the past, and I will be doing them. But yeah, all things vegan, basically. That's what I do.
Yeah, and it is a lot of fun, and it comes across. It's I really enjoy watching your live streams, and it's just such a relaxed atmosphere. And yeah, you make everyone feel welcome. You pay attention to everybody. I don't know how you do it. It's mental. I struggle on my live streams, and I've only got like 10 or 12 people watching on my live streams, and I struggle to keep up with everyone. So I don't know how you do it.
I do try. I just think, yeah, I just kind of like pretend we're all in a room, really. And that's how I see it. But I'm glad you think it's relaxed, because I feel kind of stressy when I'm doing them. I come across as stressy.
No, you don't.
No, that's good then.
You don't at all. You come across as warm and relaxed and funny, and yeah, you've got
Cozy.
welcoming. It feels like I'm chatting with a mate, even though I'm not in the room
That's
with you.
good. I want to give that. I want to give that vibe, and I think that's kind of important. Even though, like, I, want to fight everyone who abuses animals. At the same time, if you give this kind of like warm, cozy, I am mumsy vibe, then maybe they might be more inclined to just like deal with you metaphorically, slapping them around the head and turning them off. So yeah, I'm glad that comes across that way.
Yeah, 100%. Well, thanks again for coming on, and hopefully...
Well, thank you for having me on.
No,
I don't get interviewed. I feel very like important and VIP, and
you are important. You're very important to the vegans out there. Like, I know how much support you give them, and how much they find your channel like a release, and someone they can relate to. So yeah, it's really important that I had you on my channel, and hopefully some people will be inspired to get active from watching you today talk about your activism.
Yes, please, come on, get on with it.
Get off your bums.
Get off your bums.
So I hope you enjoyed that. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like and share this video. Massive thank you to my patrons that support me on my Patreon page. And if you want to support me in making more content and getting out there and doing more activism, then check out the link below to my Patreon page. Thanks then, bye.